Distortion.
Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 402. Welcome, Mr. Geezer Butler. How are you, sir?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing well. We spoke briefly off the air, and I mentioned I have a newborn. He's 6 weeks old. I don't know what time it is. I only just know what time it is to interview you. And you said it's like your house now. Do you have a lot of grandkids running around? What's going on?
Yeah, I've got five grand. We all came to England for a vacation, and we're all in this big house out in the countryside. And I've got the 5 grandkids here with me, and the newest one is 4 months old. Oh. So she lets everybody know when she's hungry.
That's very true. You know, he hits my boy hits octaves that some lead singers can't even hit. So, well, congratulations on being a grandpa over and over again. Do they call you Grandpa Geezer? What do they call you?
Just Grandpa.
I figured. Well, congrats on that. And also congratulations on the book, Into the Void, From Birth to Black Sabbath and Beyond. And I guess congratulations also on retirement. How does that feel?
Good. I mean, after all these book interviews and things, that's it. I'm free.
Yeah, it's interesting because I make a lot of analogies between musicians and athletes, and because sometimes people, this person doesn't sing or play like they did 30 years ago, but with sports, you have a certain finite time to be able to produce and win, but with a musician, you can keep going. I mean, if you're still able to write, you're still able to play, there's still no desire, you're totally cool calling it a career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still writing stuff, but I've got no plans of making albums or going on tour or anything because, because I was in a band, and you have to have the rest of the band willing to do everything as well. So, none of us are young anymore. I mean, Tony's 75. I'm going to be 74 next month, and it's quite a young man's game, really, touring. I mean, it's okay writing albums and stuff like that. You can do it leisurely in your own time, but going on tour takes a lot out of you.
So how do you view a band like the Rolling Stones? I mean, how do you look at them, and is it just like an anomaly, like there won't be another band like them?
Well, they do it so leisurely. It's almost like not being on the road. They do like these massive stadiums. I saw them in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, and Mick Jagger was like a 14-year-old kid. He was incredible. And, if you can do it, then great, do it. But, they do like one gig a week, I think, in these massive stadiums, and they've got their own plane and everything like that. So they take it easy and do it leisurely.
Okay. This is a fan question, I guess, because you go from Birth to Black Sabbath. It's not all just about Black Sabbath. This is from Connie Patton from Greece. Wants to know, when was the last time anyone called you Terence?
Terence, probably when I got on the plane in America.
Oh,
and
okay.
They said, can we, what's your name, look at your passports. Are you Terence Butler?
Well, you mentioned it was in the book as well, and I got a lot of questions about this, and I'll give it this credit to Alex on Facebook, because you mentioned in your last band, Deadland Ritual, with Matt Sorum, that was going to launch, but then didn't because there was some sort of fallout between Frankie Perez, the singer, and Matt, and that kind of halted everything. Was that going to be kind of almost your swan song? Like, what really happened with Deadland Ritual?
Well, that happened. Matt and the singer fell out, and it was right before we were going to go into the studio and record the album. We'd written 12 songs for an album, and everything was going fine. And then the pandemic hit, and all the studios closed down, and that was it. You couldn't leave your house for 3 months or whatever it was. And so we were all restricted to our various homes everywhere. And nothing ever came of it. And that's when I started writing the book instead.
Ah, well, I guess something good came out of it. Do you think we'll ever see those songs that you wrote come out maybe in the future?
I think Matt's going to do one or two on his new album that should be out sometime this year.
Oh, okay. So is he going to do that under the Kings of Chaos, I believe? Because I might have...
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Awesome. Because I had him on not too long ago. With
I was in Steve Stevens' studio, and we both did a song for Matt.
Oh, very cool. I'm looking forward to that. Well, that means, yeah, I know what you mean by retiring, not doing the full-time gig, but I'm glad that we're still going to get some Geezer here and there. What else are you writing then, other than this book, which is now done? What else are you working on?
Nothing.
Okay.
Looking forward to doing absolutely nothing.
Wow, that's a life well lived. Is that when you sat down to do the book? Was it kind of like that? Like, oh, I can't wait to finish this and just kind of just sit back and finally relax, or was it difficult to write the book and kind of relive a lot of this stuff? Were you looking forward to finishing your chapters, so to speak, or?
It was good therapy for me, getting it all out there, and a lot of it couldn't be written about because for legal reasons, according to the publishers. So that might come out in some form or other, whether I'll have to do it as a fiction book or something. Mm-hmm. But it's like as soon as I finish something, I always say, that's it, I'm not going to do anything else. And then like 2 months later, I can't wait to get into something else. So I'm sure in 2 or 3 months' time, I'll be thinking about something else to do.
Okay. I like that. But I also, you you deserve your, the gold watch and all that fun stuff. When you mentioned therapy, and I talk about that because I've gone to therapy for 12 years, and I take that very seriously. Like, what was the most therapeutic for you to write down? What was either you were the most anxious to write and be like, I can't wait to get this out? Or were you kind of like, I'm kind of, or hesitant to be like, I'm going to relive this. This is going to be really difficult, but I got to do it. This is part of my story.
I think putting in the book when my second child was born and he was given like 3 days to live. Mm. And getting that out, out of me once and for all, because I'd never spoken to anybody about it. Just writing about it and being thankful that he came through it all, and just reliving those times and having something at the end of it that turned out well.
Wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine. This was my first child, and that was so much of my worry was just everyone's congratulating you when you're pregnant. At the beginning, I'm like, I just need him to be healthy. I just want to have him here and be healthy. So I'm glad that you did, and your family was able to get through it. That's incredible. Because obviously you're with the book, and there's all these headlines out about everything you're talking about. You mentioned how you're not talking too much with Ozzy lately because of the wives. That's one of the big headlines. It's interesting. I always found, as just like a fan, Sharon Osbourne is an interesting character. Like my mom and my wife are fans of her because she's on TV, and I always got a kick out of her, but I never worked with her. Is there can you maybe pick one word to describe Sharon Osbourne?
Well, it's the same. It's like with every family, we've fallen out loads of times over the past 50 years. You fall out for a year or two, and then you get together. And I don't see any of the rest of the band. It's just like the people have picked up on Sharon part of it because everybody knows who Sharon is. So, that's... If I'd have put Bill's wife in there, nobody would have said anything about it, or Tony's wife. But because everybody knows who Sharon is, they seem to pick up on that.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's somebody who does interviews. It's certain names and bands are just very clickable, even though it doesn't really give you the full context of everything.
Yeah, I mean, because the band was such a close band anyway. You have these fallouts and you beat each other up and whatever over the years. you don't talk to each other for 2 or 3 years, and then you get back together as if nothing's ever happened.
Do you, what do you think about Ozzy? Still, he's going to be out there doing it. I saw BB King '86 go out in a wheelchair. It was a great show. I say, perform until you don't want to perform anymore. But you're retiring. Do you look at Ozzy being like, you know what, right off into the sunset? Or, I know it's not for you to say, but how do you feel about Ozzy still trying to, go out there and not the best of health, though?
It's entirely up to him. Good luck to him. If he's desperate to go out and do one more tour, and good luck to him, whichever way he can do it. He wants to do it, so it's entirely up to him.
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. I didn't expect any other answer. Absolutely. I have another fan question from you. This is from Dirk from Germany. A little bit more specific and a little bit more fun, I guess. When Black Sabbath played the Cal Jam Festival in 1974, they were tripping on acid, at least according to Ozzy. If so, he would like to know how it felt to be tripping in front of 240,000 people.
It wasn't tripping; it was cocaine.
Oh.
We got in this because of he couldn't get into the place because there's hundreds of thousands of cars parked outside the place where it was held at. So the only way the bands could get in was from helicopter. So the helicopter would land at your hotel, pick you up, and take you to the show. And in each helicopter was like an ounce of cocaine for each band. So by the time we got to the stage, we were all whizzing.
Whizzing. I love that. It's such a miracle, and because you sound so great that you're all still alive. I hate to say it like that, but that you all survived and you're all icons in the industry. You may have noticed, and I know I only have you here for 3 more minutes. That the name of this podcast is that's on iHeartRadio and Q1043.com is Appetite for Distortion. We use it's a play of Appetite for Destruction, of course. It's a Guns N' Roses theme. And I found it funny in your book that when you did your band, GZR, there was a lot of confusion with GNR, and you were getting Guns N' Roses fan mail. So I'm curious if you actually opened any of that mail.
Probably a couple. And it was like, Dear Axel. And then I realised what was going on. So, GZ, nobody knew who GZR were, or GZR. And so they automatically thought it was Guns N' Roses.
Oh, that's a trip. And I got to ask, because obviously you guys kind of were the forefathers of heavy metal, and GNR they did change the game in their time. What you thought about Appetite for Destruction from your viewpoint?
I thought it was a great album. I really did. I thought that, it was really refreshing at the time instead of all the hair metal stuff that was going on. And something that I actually liked to listen to came out, which is Guns N' Roses. They're really good.
Are you still friendly with Slash? Because, it was a few years ago before the Sabbath reunion when you were going out on tour with Ozzy and friends. You wrote about that as well in the book, and Slash was a part of that. Are you still friends with, because it happens a lot nowadays, like, hey, contribute to this song, and you don't even have to leave your house. You can be there surrounded by your grandkids, and that, just lay down a bass line. So I'm just curious if you're still friendly with Slash, and you never know what music can come out of it.
Well, I don't see him or email him every day or anything like that, but, I'm not unfriendly with him.
That's a good answer. That works. How do you look back at your career now? Is there anything that you feel like any rock left unturned? Is there anything? I know you said you're retired. You just want to kick up your feet, but was there anything you kind of look back on and be like, you know what? Maybe I wish I had another kick at the bucket at this.
I think if we'd have paid more attention to the business side of things in the band in the early 70s, we wouldn't have been so screwed up towards the end of the 70s. I think that was a shame that a lot of the things why the original lineup didn't last to the end of the 70s was because of the finances and stuff.
I always hate hearing that. Just like a band of brothers that has to, it's the business that takes over. Well, Geezer, this was a pleasure. If that second book ever does come out, the fiction book, I would love to be able to speak with you again. Thank you so much for your time. It was a real privilege and honor.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
You got it. I'm torn. Like, I hope Geezer enjoys retirement and enjoys his grandkids, enjoys his life, but at the same time, this guy has just gifted us so much great music and experiences that you hope that there's still more left. So we'll see. We'll absolutely see. And it's interesting about not being able to put things in the book because of lawsuits and whatever, and that was always a concern of mine when I was doing Doug Goldstein's book. And he's like, oh well, he didn't sign an NDA. Well, I guess we'll never know. But what I did with Vicki Hamilton the other day, where I read an excerpt of Doug's never-to-be-published book to her, I'll probably do that sporadically from here and there, because not only was I kind of screwed over, I think you fans were as well. Because, think about it. We're hearing from Geezer the stories that we've always wanted to hear, and same thing with Guns N' Roses. There's so many stories still to uncover. And that's what's great about this band. They make it hard to find out the stories. I think that's part of the allure. But at the same time, that's what makes us thirsty for it. That's what makes us want it. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, trying to uncover whatever 6 degrees of GNR bacon we can get. And with that in mind, I can't believe this was, I think May 23rd was officially the 7-year anniversary of Appetite for Distortion. I've been doing this podcast for 7 years. That doesn't sound real to me. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't sound real to me. Like, I'm going to be 40 in September. I have a newborn. So Baby Brownstone, not going to be a co-host for these shorter interviews. I can't deal with the baby and do a quick 10 or 15 minute interview. I don't think that would be very wise of me. And by the way, if any of you, I got one comment on YouTube, but it ended well, about, why don't you schedule these interviews when you're not holding him? It's unprofessional. I had to explain that it's a choice. I wanted to hold him. I want to hold him. It gave off a good vibe with Tommy Stinson, who joked about it at the beginning, that he would leave his kids home when going to work, and it was a good vibe with Vicki Hamilton. It's all about the vibe. And if Harrison, Baby Brownstone, decides to throw up or shit on me during the interview, then it's comedy. And I can always edit, because these are taped. These are not live podcasts. So I'm just curious your point of view. Those 2 episodes, 400 and 401, because it had been a break. This is my first time being able to talk to you 101 since that long ass break that I did nearly 2 months, which was the longest break of these 7 years. But I always mention the conversation continues in between the broadcasts on social media, so I never was away and talking to all of you. But I was itching to get back. And it's going to be like this. If I'm not holding him, he's going to be in the other room crying. So it is what it is, and I think it just adds to the atmosphere of Appetite for Distortion. But I wanted to read some comments from you that when I posted about how it's been 7 years, because it's meant so much to me. Because it wouldn't be, I'm getting opportunities to interview Geezer and Tommy Stinson and Vicki Hamilton, and coming up, we got Steve Turner from Mudhoney, Stephen Piercy from Rat is coming back on the podcast. A lot of cool things, and just been so fortunate to have interviewed some of my heroes. But the main reason I've been able to keep going and to have a platform at all is you. You are helping me do it. If there were just 5 people listening, I don't know if I would do these interviews. Like, who would hear them? But you hear them. So I'll read this. I'm going down the line here on Facebook. Josh Johnson says, congratulations on the accomplishments, fellow gunner. You have a totally awesome podcast, bro. I definitely appreciate what you do and your initiative to get all the awesome guests involved. Long live Guns N' Roses. Thank you, Josh. This is from Iona. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. You comment a lot. I believe she's from Greece. Look at this. 2 Greece mentions. I've That's what's crazy. I got fans from Greece, Australia, Spain, all over this world just from doing a podcast. Congratulations, Brando. It was an amazing, quote, silly idea. That's my words. I thought this was a silly, you've heard me say that before. I thought this was a silly idea when Scotto first brought this to me. I wish you get to 4,000 episodes and further. You never know. This is from Leslie Anderson Brett. I'm so glad I found you and your podcast, Brando. It's really cheered me up at times. Love to hear all the stories about GNR. Cheers to you for all your hard work and dedication. May there be many more. Thank you, Leslie. This is from Phil Johnston. It's a boss podcast mate. Here's to the next 400 plus episodes. Thank you. Cindy Sauber Waller. Congratulations, Brando. Glad you had a, quote, silly idea. Keep up the amazing work. This is from Jonathan Holm, my absolute favorite podcast since I discovered it. Dude, seriously, I listen every day, and when I finish the backlog, I will probably start over. That blows my mind. That really does, when people say that they've listened to every episode and they've re-listened. That's just bananas to me, because it's not like... Like, I've been in a real kick of rewatching shows that I haven't watched in a long time. I'm in the middle of, actually, I'm towards the end of rewatching The Walking Dead. That's one thing to watch The Walking Dead, to binge watch that, but to binge these podcasts, incredible. James Nesmith, congratulations, Brando. Amazing job that you do. Isa, BC, congratulations on the milestone. Too many more. We got another Graham. We are grateful and glad you did, Brando. That's from Graham Busan. Forgive me, I'm terrible at names. Joe Shirok, thank you for doing what you do for us GNR fanatics. Ben Kenny Solomon, here's to many more. And Devin William, been waiting for this one for a long time, and he was talking about the Tommy Stimson episode, because I had thanked everybody before I posted that Tommy episode. So just again, thank you to every single one of you. And I'm going to speak to a lot of you this summer as we do another Guns N' Roses tour around the world. They're back. They are back, and it makes it an exciting time to do this podcast. Again, this podcast started right before the reunion, leading up to the reunion. To continue this Guns N' Roses podcast when they don't seemingly offer you a lot, right? It's we finally get Absurd, but some fans are upset because it's a, quote, older song. Same thing with Hard School. It's an older song but just reworked. Just want to slip in there that a lot of bands do that, but we're not all aware of that they have old songs that they redo. To me, a song is a song. It doesn't matter when it's written. As long as it's out there, if it's good, you can connect to the lyrics somehow. You have fun listening to it. I don't think it really matters when it comes out. But I'm going to do more fan reviews. So if you are going to a show and you want to do a review on the podcast, just hit me up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, email, and let me know what show you were going to. And we can try to set something up. With or without Baby Brownstone. We'll see how that happens. Let me give a shout out to, and they're going to do the, what show are they going to do? Hyde Park. This is, I got a message from Dell, who has a Guns N' Roses podcast. I love it, because whether it's, me, they're called Double Talking Guns with two of his friends, whether it's, Guns N' Radio, whether it's Nothing Lasts Forever, the November Rain podcast, we all do something very different, even though it's all about the same band. So it's the more the merrier. It's fine. So they're going to do the Hyde Park episode. So please send me a message. And also, I posted the other day, and thank you again to Rebel Hippie, another loyal listener who I didn't even ask. He went to the show in Madrid and sent me a bunch of videos, wrote out an entire review, and I posted it. And he didn't even ask me to post it. I said, this is really, I enjoyed this review. You DM'd me on Facebook. Can I post it? He's like, yeah, that's why I did it. And by their reactions, you loved his review. You really did. It got a lot of you excited to buy tickets and to go to shows. And I posted a video of Axl hitting that. It's his video, Rebel's video of Axl hitting that note. And There Was a Time. Oh man! So we're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna do a shotgun news on the episode with Steve Turner from Mudhoney about these set list changes. Yeah, after, I guess, 7 years of this reunion, we're getting major set list changes. Pretty tied up, Bad Obsession, There Was a Time, Prostitute, Down on the Farm. Wow, I am really excited to see them in New Jersey in August. Really, really excited, and excited to hear from you. So again, you want to talk about the podcast, you want to talk about the show that you went to, hit me up. Or if you just want to write a review and send me videos or pictures, I could post them. I am your vessel for Guns N' Roses. That sounded weirder than I wanted it to be. Anyway, that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. Again, coming up soon, I'm not sure when I'm going to post them, Steve Turner, guitarist from Mudhoney, Rat. We got Stephen Pearcy coming back to the podcast and working on some other things, trying to get John 5. We'll see when it happens. Obviously, he's very busy with Motley Crue. They're quite busy nowadays, but I've been told I'm on the short list for when he is ready to do interviews. Oh, and I will say this before I forget, just to show you throughout the 7 years that I'm still dealing with shit. I put out a interview request for Extreme, either Gary Cherone or Nuno Betancourt. I was denied because I'm a Guns N' Roses podcast. Because that makes sense. Because Guns N' Roses fans won't be Extreme fans. Idiots. And I've seen lesser podcasts interview them, so I don't. Managements are dumb. Some managements are really dumb, and the dumbest might be Buck Cherry's new management. I was offered to interview Josh Todd for a third time. I didn't ask. I was offered, hey, do you want to interview Josh Todd? Yeah, sure. You know, I kind of got his Guns N' Roses stories already, but whatever. He's awesome. I'm a Buck Cherry fan. Their management canceled it because I'm a Guns N' Roses podcast. Hey, schmucko. He's been on the podcast twice already. And it's gotten like positive reviews each time. He has like a good time. So just stupid. So this is, the shit I have to battle through. But all of you, so much more than the names I've mentioned today, are making it worthwhile and help me battle through all the bullshit. Anyway, that does it for this episode. So when are you going to see the next one? Well, in the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, I don't know if soon is the word, but you'll see it.